Hi, everyone, and welcome to the episode of Software Success. So, I'm Ashley Jones, and I'll be sharing some software tips and tricks with you today. You guys know that I love my software. And here at Dime, we have lots of pieces of software, and we're always coming up with new ones. But today, we're going to talk about one that we've had lots of questions about, so I can't wait to share it with you. So, I see lots of people joining us today. And so say hi if you haven't already. And so let's just give everybody a little bit longer to pop in here. So we'll say hi to everyone that's here. So, hey, Cynthia from Illinois. And so Betty Jo Mitchell from New York. Thanks for joining. And Regal Allure Couture. Oh, that's kind of a nice name. So thanks for joining from Houston. Laura Parks. Good to see you here from Nebraska. And Elizabeth Dickerson from San Antonio. K Black Creations looks like from Sweet Home, Alabama. Say, hey, that's where I'm from originally. So thank you for joining here. And Sista So Crafty. Oh, I love that. So cute. Such a cute name. Sista So Crafty. So thanks for being here from North Jersey. So Eileen's a Jersey girl. So my friend Eileen, thanks for being here, joining us today. And Linda Johnson, always good to see you as well. And we've got hello from Kansas, Sarah Bass. Good to see you again, Sarah. Sewing Ski. That sounds like my kind of person too. I love to ski, water and snow ski. So thanks for being here from Ohio. Our friend Reen Wilcoxon of Embroidery Garden. So glad to have Reen here, and also Caroline Booth. Good to see you. Pamela. My friend Jill, thanks for being here, Jill. So good to see you as well. So lots of people joining, and so we've got a nice group here. I think we can start by talking about what we're going to be sharing with you today. So we have a fairly new program called Embroidery Toolshed Plus. This is a program that most of you guys, if you own any piece of Dime software aside from the free Embroidery Toolshed, then you most likely already have the features that are Embroidery Toolshed Plus. So what I'm going to show you today, even if you do not have Embroidery Toolshed Plus, then you'll still most likely be able to do a lot of these things in your program. We'll be using text. I'm going to be showing how to edit a design, which only needs the group and ungroup feature for what we're going to be doing today. And we're going to see different ways to combine a design, also using some of the free designs that are built in. And these features that are in Embroidery Toolshed Plus, I'm going to share with you what's included, so you'll know. We've gotten a lot of questions on that, but also know that a lot of these features, if you own any other Dime paid program, you probably have these features anyway. And so we're going to talk about that. And so tell me over in the chat. So do we have anyone that does already own Embroidery Toolshed Plus? And so tell me that over in the chat. And you're more than welcome to tell me which Dime software you do own. I always love seeing that too. So that's always good to see. But if you have questions along the way, make sure that you ask. And I'm happy, as you guys know, to answer any questions. You guys know me. I am a software lover. And so I really, really love the fact that so many of you are embracing your software and you're starting to use it more, and you're starting to really love it as much as I do. I really think that embroidery software is my most essential tool in embroidery, because it can really help me in a lot of ways, making a good design, adjusting a design for the type of fabric I'm stitching on, being able to edit it, add text. It really is my number one tool. So I see lots of people popping in. So Brenda says she's got PEP and Toolshed. So I see Cut and Stitch from Cindy. Hey, Cindy, thanks for joining. And Cindy, I was going to say, I know you have special effects, as I've seen you post your fun stuff. And Patch and Applique Maker, she says Word Art and Stitches. I see Linda, Pep, Word Art, Special Effects, Lace, and Pam. So yeah, lots of different programs. Now, the good thing is that our programs work all together if you own multiple pieces, which I'm sure some of you guys are finding that out as well. I see Janice Byrne, it looks like, the Toolshed Plus, cut and stitch and special effects. So great combination. Pamela, My Lace Maker, and Word Art and Stitches, Pam, and special effects, and also cut and stitch. So I'm also going to talk about in a couple of weeks how you can use your features together. So those of you guys that own multiple pieces, you guys are going to love that episode because it's going to really talk about how they work together and really build a more powerful program. So let's head over to Embroidery Toolshed and start by talking about what we've got available to us in this program and how we're going to use those features to create a design today. So okay, so what I'm showing you today, I am only using my features from my Embroidery Toolshed Plus. So if you own Embroidery Toolshed Plus, or if you are thinking of purchasing it, what I'm going to show you today, you will be able to do with that program alone. But remember, a lot of these features are common amongst our programs. So even if you don't have Embroidery Toolshed Plus, you may already have these features, and you also will learn how to use those tools in your program. So, okay, so let's start by, what we actually have. So these icons up here on the top row, you will see these in every program that we have. So opening a new page, opening a design, saving, being able to print a template is what we do from our printer icon. That's our print preview. You can send to a Brother and Baby Lock wireless embroidery machine with this icon in every program other than the free one. Slow redraw, being able to watch your stitch simulator, cut, copy, paste, your undo key, and then your zoom tools. Now down here on the second row, we've got built-in text to this Embroidery Toolshed Plus. So when I click on the text tool, and then you can see the A behind my cursor, and I click on the screen, it places one letter on my workspace. And if I click over here in my properties area, if I click right on top of the text in this box, I can see all the text included. So now in Embroidery Toolshed Plus, you get 17 embroidery fonts. So you get all of these regular ones. You get 3 monogram fonts. You get a puffy font and an Arial applique font. So this might be the one thing that you do not have. Like, say if you've got My Block Piecer, which does not have a lot of text included, or My Emoji Stitches, the Stitch Snapshot. Some of our programs don't have any text. So adding your Embroidery Toolshed Plus would give you the text, but that's really the main thing that you would be getting if you already own another program, the monogram tool and having these specialty text here. Now to do the monogram option, that's what this capital M is, and you probably will recognize that from other programs, but you can see when I select that and I click on the screen, I get this 3-letter with the larger center letter as a layout. That's what we consider our monogram layout. And then we can, of course, change those letters over here in our properties area. So also in this program, we have color sort, which I'll show you. We've got an auto basting. We've got our flip and mirror. We've got rotate. We've got alignment tools, horizontally and vertically distribute, which I'll show you that. Move to the front, move to the back here in our group and ungroup. And down the side here, we have some common tools amongst a lot of our programs, our select, our zoom, pan, ruler, realistic, the grid, and even your hoop selection, seeing your commands and your stitches. Okay. So that is all the features in Embroidery Toolshed. And like I said, these features you might have in another program. I see that a lot of you guys listed a ton of different programs in the chat there. And I actually see a couple of people saying, will this work with my machine? So the Embroidery Toolshed Plus, yes, it will work with any brand, any model of embroidery machine, because you'll be creating your design and then you'll save it to the format for your embroidery machine. So if I click the Save As, we have a really long list of formats. So we save to all of these different formats, which are a huge selection: Brother, Baby Lock, Pfaff, Viking, Elna, Janome, Bernina, Singer. We also have Eversone. We have commercial formats as well. So we save to any brand of embroidery machine. If it'll accept an embroidery file that's a digital file, then we pretty much save to a format that we'll use. So yes, it will work with any embroidery machine out there that accepts a digital file. Okay, so let's start by doing a just some basic resizing. So I'm going to go over here. So remember, I'm using my Embroidery Tool Shed Plus. You can see that that's what I have here in my shopping area. I'm going to go to the bottom here and click on this design library, this little book icon in the bottom right. This is my design library. Now, I have a lot of folders in mine, and so you may not have all of the exact same folders, but I do know for a fact that everyone has this folder that's called Perfect Embroidery Pro Free Designs. So these designs are embroidery files that you can use and play with, stitch out, create a design. So we're going to use these since everybody has these designs. And I'm looking for a particular one. It really doesn't matter which one I use, but I really think that there's a cute little duck somewhere down here. There we go. So I have two ways to open this design. I can double click it, or I can click and drag it onto the screen, okay? And that's how I can put two designs together, is by clicking and dragging, or I can do File, Merge, and locate that design on my computer, okay? So I'm just going to work with the one. So first and foremost, I'm going to select the duck here. I'm going to go to my sequence view. That's the three lines here, or we call that a hamburger menu, because it's stacked like a hamburger. And you can see that I've got several elements here. So because Embroidery Tool Shed has the ability to group and ungroup, this means that I can select the different elements of the design and I can delete them if I want. So if I say I don't want all of the fill stitch here for the color, I'm going to just press the delete on my keyboard and it'll remove that area. So if I wanted maybe this open airy design, or maybe I'm stitching it on something yellow and I just want kind of the shading and the outline, I can do that. So I'm going to do my undo key here. And I'm actually going to group this together. So if I click and drag, I can click my group here. So let's talk about the difference between group and ungroup. Notice over here in my sequence view, every one of the elements that make up my duck are separated. When I group them together, they're all acting as one. So now when I click and drag this, it's going to drag or move as an entire element. So if I ungroup it, and let's say I click on it and move it, you can see that it only moved part of my design because it's not grouped together. I can move or remove individual objects. So, and of course, I love my undo. I do it all the time. And so now let's group this back together. So I'm just going to click and drag. You can also do edit, select all, or you can do select all by doing a Control A on your keyboard. And I'm going to group this together so that it stays as one object. So let's make several copies of this and let's talk about our alignment tools. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste. So there's several different ways to do this. I can click copy and I can click paste on my icons here, and it actually pastes a copy exactly on top of my other design, unless let me correct that. It actually pastes exactly where I copied it. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So you can see over here, I actually have two copies in my sequence view, the first one and the second one. So if I just click and drag and move that out of the way. Now, if I copy and then move this one before I paste, we can see what happens there. So I'm going to remove this one just by pressing the delete on my keyboard. So now I'm going to copy under my right mouse menu, right mouse click, I can do a copy. Now, before I paste, if I move this one and then I click paste, I'm going to do a right mouse click and say paste. You can see that it pasted exactly where it was copied from. Okay, so just a little thing to know there. but it does usually, if you just do a copy and paste, it'll be right on top of the other one. So it's all a really good idea to have those grouped. It makes it easier to separate them out. Another way that you can make a quick copy is to hold down your control key, and you can see I get that little plus after my hand. And if I hold my control key and then just drag, it makes a duplication of the design. So I can just click it, select it, control key, and drag, and it'll make the copy. Sometimes you may have actually done that accidentally, not realizing that you'd made another copy. Okay, so now we've got our ducks here. I'm just going to put them all on the screen here. Not anything perfect. I'm going to do my double click the zoom tool here, and now let's look at our alignment tools. So our alignment tools, I can let me space them out so we can see what happens here. We're gonna leave them like this. Okay, so if I select everything and I can left align, and it will line them all up, and then I could do this distribute vertically, and it will evenly space all of them for me. So I've got my ducks in a row, right? I don't really have my ducks in a row. So, but I'm going to undo and undo again so we can see it. And then here we've got the right align, which pushes them all to the right. I'm going to do an undo. We've got the top align, which pushes them all top. And then let me actually make a couple of these smaller in size. So I'm going to click and drag to just resize these. When we resize, it does recalculate the stitches. And I'm just doing this so that you can see what I mean by top align and lower align. So if I select everything, if I do top align, you can see that it's aligning all of the top of the design. The lower align does the bottom align does the opposite. And then we can also center align vertically and horizontally. And then now I can do my evenly distribute, and it's going to space my ducks out perfectly even. So that's our tools here, our alignment tools and our distribute tools as well. Okay. And so now if I move this duck closer together, so I'm going to move this one, and let's select everything again and then do our distribute to get them closer together. So I kind of like that. That's kind of cute, right? And let's zoom in by double clicking our zoom tool here. And so another thing that I just want to point out is that you can also mirror image and rotate. So I can flip, which is going to reverse the direction, and I can mirror, well, actually I think I have them opposite. So mirror is left to right, flip is top and bottom, and I can use my shortcut tools, but you also have the ability to do that in your properties area. So if I click in the white space, notice that I don't have any properties here. I only get properties when I have something selected. And then now you can see that I have my transform option, and I actually have the ability to do my rotate right here. And I also can do the mirror and the flip as well, and just click the check mark and apply. Now the rotate, I can either rotate by clicking and dragging on that circle on the corner there. You can see that I've got, let me zoom in here so we can see that closer. So I'm going to click my zoom tool, and then I'm going to drag a box around this one, and then go back to my select tool. And you can see that when I hover over that little like magenta circle, I get that double-headed arrow. That means that I can click and drag to rotate my design. Okay. But you can also rotate like an exact angle. So this duck here has not been rotated. So over here in my properties area, I can actually put in that I want to rotate this, let's say 45 degrees, and click OK. And then I'm going to click this first one here, and you can also put in a negative number. So a negative 45 is really our 135, but I don't have to remember that. I can just do a negative 45 to rotate it the other direction. So, so take a look at those. If you haven't explored like your properties area, there's lots of stuff over there that you can do to edit your design. So that is everything we've got here with the rotate and the alignment tools. Now let's talk about the color sort option. So if I look at my slow redraw, you can see that I have my colors. One whole duck is going to stitch at a time, but these aren't touching. They're not overlapping. There's really no reason why they couldn't all stitch all of the yellow together and all of the orange and all of the white, so forth and so on. Okay, so the color sort, the way that it works is it will color sort whatever is selected. So let's just select 2 of these and click our color sort option and then watch our slow redraw. So notice that it only color sorted those 2 that I had selected. The others here are still stitching all at the same in the same order. So if I want everything to color sort, I want to select everything and then click my color sort option there. And it will color sort every duck that I have selected. I've got one yellow here. It looks like it didn't color sort, but if you watch this, it's actually a little bit darker yellow color and it's the shading on my duck. So really cool, right? So those features, if you've got those features in the software that you're using, they all work the same exact way. So let's see if we have any questions, and then we're going to go to editing text and then give you a little more detail on manipulating. And I've got some other editing tips for you as well. So if you have a question, if you haven't been with me before, I see a couple people already have put several question marks in front of your question. It just makes it easier for me to pick it out of the list of questions that's going on. So Rita Fisher says, when I open the free tool shed, it says there is an update. I'd want to download it, but it doesn't download an update. And it's referring to the ETS Plus. So to download your update, Rita, whenever it says download and you click the download option, it then should pop up and ask you where you want to download that. Usually I download it to my downloads folder because I delete it once I've got it installed. But in order to install the update, you must double click on the file and run it. I have gotten some information from other users that they're getting like a warning and that it says that, you know, are you sure you want to download this? There's a trust issue. There's usually some hidden way to say, yes, I trust it. So if you're having that issue, look on that pop-up window for anything that says keep the file or yes, I trust it. Every browser and version of computer is sometimes different between Mac and Windows. So when you're watching, make sure that you are looking for that really inconspicuous place that you could say keep that file. So just make sure that you are checking that, but you have to download it. So make sure it is downloading, and then you have to double click to install it. And then once it installs, then you'll be able to open your embroidery tool shed with the new updates. One way to check is you can check the version and make sure that it changed before and after. And I'll show you how to do that whenever I go back over there. We'll talk about that for the update. And then Cynthia Ferris. So thank you, Cynthia, for being here. She says, will the software work wirelessly with Brother and Baby Lock? Yes, if it is a wireless capable Brother or Baby Lock embroidery machine, you have to be able to locate the IP on your network of your machine, and that's how it finds it. But it is Brother and Baby Lock embroidery machines. It does not send wirelessly to the Brother Scan and Cut, just embroidery machines. And so if it is wireless capable machine, then yes, it should work. So really good question. I'm trying to draw an oval and put like stars around the border. Which program would do that? So artwork tools are in a lot of our programs. And so when you're drawing the oval, you want to put the stars around it, that is usually like putting it on a path. So if it's just an artwork shape, then cut and stitch would be a good one. Cut and stitch is really good with all artwork options. And you can actually put those stars in a circle path on like a carousel tool, which is also in the cut and stitch software. So that might be a good one for you, Sandra. So if you don't know which features are in which, we're actually working on a comparison chart, but you can also try any of our software. And when I go back in, I'll show you how to do that as well, so that you can test and make sure you can do exactly what you want before you make that purchase. So Can we do in PEP some of the techniques that are in the modules? So, for example, the marrow stitch in patches. So, Joyce, that's a really good question. In Perfect Embroidery Pro, you do not have the marrow stitch built in. The Mimic marrow stitch is in Patch and Applique Maker. So, that stitch is not built in Perfect Embroidery Pro. But a lot of the features that are in the other programs, Perfect Embroidery Pro, you could do if you know how to manually digitize. So Perfect Embroidery Pro is really that program that you can create all the things that you want manually. It has all of those capabilities. Our other programs are kind of like the one click option. Like if you want to do freestanding lace and you know how to digitize it, you could do it in Perfect Embroidery Pro. But if you don't know how to digitize or you don't want to take the time to, My Lace Maker has the one click fill with the lace grid kind of thing. So that's kind of the premise of the dime programs. Perfect Embroidery Pro has the ability to digitize almost anything that you want, but if you like a one-click kind of wonder, that's what the other programs really are giving you. So that's a really good question, Joyce. So, and let's see what else we've got. And so Lisa Denise Cooper says, can you show us which icon works to send the file to the Brother Sewing and machine? Yes, it needs to be, Lisa, just to reiterate, it does need to be a Brother embroidery machine that is wireless capable. But I'll show you that whenever I go back over to. So wireless send, I'll show you that. And then Mary says, I downloaded the programs, but I haven't been able to find the files that come with it. So those would be in your library files. You can also look under your C drive on your Windows computer, C Dime Designs, and they would all be under there. And I'll show you how to find that as well, Mary. So your C Dime Designs is what you're looking for. So, okay. So, let's go back over and I'll answer some of these questions and then we'll start some text manipulation. So let me get rid of that on the screen there. Okay, so let me answer some of those questions before we go on. So over in your design library here at the bottom right, so the designs that come with the software are under a folder called C Dime Design. So it's underneath your C drive, a dime folder and designs folder. But if you click on this library of designs down here, it's this little book icon to the bottom right, you can see those designs. So if you click on the designs category, you'll be able to scroll down. Now I've got some folders that you may not have, but you'll see some of these that you recognize. So again, like the Perfect Embroidery Pro. So if I do a right mouse click right on that folder, I can click show contents and it'll actually open up the location on my computer. So if I go to, let's go here. So C Dime and design. So that's where all of those designs are located. And the one we were looking at was the Perfect Embroidery Pro free design. So I just clicked the P on my keyboard and there are those designs. But you can see the path up here. That's where those free designs are stored. And we're going to use some of these in our demo coming up with the text manipulation. So this is also a really good way to look at designs. So if you see something here in your file folder, if you double click it, it will open up in your embroidery tool shed if you've got your embroidery tool shed set for that default stitch type. And then I'll show you how to edit this. We're going to use that as an example. So that's how you can get to that C Dime Designs. Also, while I'm down here in the bottom right, if you click on the shopping tab, you'll see all of these programs here that have a dot, dot, dot. This is an ellipsis option here after it. You can click on any of them that you don't have, and there's an option to try the software. If you click try, it puts it in a demo mode and you can play with all the features to your heart's content. Whenever you restart your software, it'll take it out of demo mode and back to whatever programs you own. And you could try it again if you want. If you had to go away and come back, you can try it as many times as you want. Also under that option is your manual. The user manual will help you learn your software. and each one of these have a different manual. So when you click the manual under these options here, it's the specific manual to each one of these different programs. So just kind of an option there for trying each of the software if you don't have them. Okay, and then the other thing I was going to show you was about the update. If you go to help and about, it will tell you which version of the software that you're on. Now, I'm on a different version, so I am testing something that is coming. So your version is probably a 24.4, and that is the latest version that we have. But if you're doing an update, if you will check this about, help and about, check the version, download, install the new update, go and open your program, check the about, and then you will be able to see if it did update to a newer version. So check what is before the update and also what is after the update as well. So hopefully that answered most all of the questions there. The last one that I want to say is the send wireless. So up here on your icon, this little machine icon, if you click that, it will let you add your embroidery machine. So if you click new and then do a search right here, it will search your network for any Brother or Baby Lock wireless capable embroidery machine. And right now, I only had one that came up because this is the only one that's turned on. I have another machine that's wireless capable, but right now only my Baby Lock one is turned on. So when I click this option, you can see it sets that address. You can change the name and then click OK and it will set it. I don't want to do it because I already have it set here. So I've got two machines that I have set. And then now all I have to do is select the machine and click the send, and it would send this design that's on my workspace to my embroidery machine wirelessly, so which is really nice. Okay, so now that we've answered all those questions, let me show you editing a design. So this is something that in Embroidery Toolshed Plus or other dime programs that have the ability to ungroup, you can edit your designs by deleting parts and pieces. So here, I'm going to ungroup this. I grouped it just to show you, and then I'm going to ungroup. So I can click ungroup on the icon bar here. I can also do a right mouse click and ungroup, or I can do the shortcut key, which is Control U. So there's many ways to do these things. So now that I've done that, I'm going to click and drag a box around the part of the design that I don't want. Okay, it's all selected, and all I have to do is hit the delete on my keyboard, or I can right mouse click and say delete. Okay, now I also don't want this part here, but it's kind of underneath this flower, so I don't want to accidentally delete it. So that's where going over here is really easier. So I can click on these two colors that make up this dirt or the soil, and then remove that. And now I've got this rogue stitch right here, and so I'm actually just going to delete that as well. Okay, so now I'm left with this one tulip. I'm going to select it and I'm going to group that together. Now, again, I'm going to use another design that is a heart-shaped design. And so in these Perfect Embroidery Pro free designs, I'm going to do a right mouse click and say show content. Now watch when I do this. You can see this yellow design right here, and whoop, I clicked away from it. So let me go back down here. So do you see this yellow and the anchor and then this design here? I want to show you that it's going to the same location. So if I do a right mouse click and say show contents, it opens up that folder. And if I scroll to the very top, oh, well, of course, that makes a fool of me because it's not in the same order. Here they are. I had it scroll down. So here's my yellow, the blue anchor, and then this boating sign too. So I didn't have my folder scrolled to the top, but I just wanted you to know that it's going to that same folder. Okay. So now I'm just going to scroll down through here and look for a design that maybe has a heart in it. And we're going to edit and manipulate our text here. So I'm scrolling pretty quickly, but I'm sure something will pop up here. So that heart will work. So we can use that. So I'm going to select it. And then I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it on a new workspace. So I'm just going to do my copy, open up a new workspace, and then I'm going to say paste. And I'm going to make sure this is grouped together. And then let's go over here to our flower, and I'm going to select this one, copy it. And then I'm going to put this over here on our other page too. Copy and paste. Okay. So we're going to make a little file with some some text. We're going to be editing a lot of text here. So I'm going to close out these two designs. And I do not want to save it because I don't want to overwrite the original. So I'm going to say no because I just edited it. And now let's create a like a subway type text with the built-in text that we have here. So let's design in our hoop. This is also something that I never do, is design in my hoop. I generally know what size I need the design to be based on the item, but some people like to design in a hoop. So let's go over here. Everybody has a hoop selection tool. If you click the hoop icon, it opens up the list of hoops. Now, I have my every hoop possible on my screen, but if you click this filter option, you can see I've got a check mark next to every single one of these hoops. You can place a check mark next to the hoops that you own, and that way your list will not be so long, okay? So that's an option. You can also create a new hoop if you don't find it in the list. You can create a hoop by clicking new and answering these questions. I do recommend you setting the width and the height in millimeters. And so you can change to millimeters by doing a right mouse click on your ruler bar here. So right mouse click, metric. And then when you click on your hoop tool and I click new, you can see that this now says metric. Most of our hoops are in metric, so it's a good idea to put that exact measurement in here and you can create your own hoop. But I'm going to look for a hoop that I already have. Now, here's another tip, is these are in alphabetical order. And so like if I wanted to use my 8x8 hoop, I can click here, my Brother Baby Lock 8x8, and then I click apply and it puts it on the workspace behind me. Okay. But if you want to work in a hoop that you don't know if the size, if you can't find your size, you can also search. So for instance, if you wanted to use like your 6x6 hoop, you could search by 6x6 and see if it's in the list. Also, you might want to search by 150 by 150 because that is the millimeters. So 150. And then when I do that, I can see that it comes up here for the FOF 150. And that 6x6 is my Brother Baby Lock 6x6 right here. So you can search for the hoop that you want to use and select that hoop. Okay, so I'm going to leave my 8x8. So I'm just going to say, oh, let me do it. Let me go back because it had the hoop selected. So I want my 8x8 here and click OK. Okay. And so now let's add our text. So I'm going to click my text tool and I'm going to click one time on the screen and I'm going to type my text. So I'm going to make this families kind of subway art. And I'm going to type memories, not two R's, and click apply. And now there's a couple of different ways that we can add more text. You can see that I've still got my text tool selected, so I could simply click on the screen again, and I could add my next text and click apply and add that one. You could also copy and paste this and then just change the text. So let's do that. So if I go to my select tool, because you can see here that I don't have my copy option. So I'm going to go to my select tool and now I've got the copy option and I can paste and it pastes another copy. Okay. And then I could just change that text to the next thing that I want. So I'm going to just say family here, but you can also do that duplicate that I showed you a few minutes ago. So if I select a text and I just hold down my control key and then I just click and drag, and then I'm just making a bunch of duplicates here. So then I can just click on these and change this to whatever I want it to say. So maybe I want this one to say love. Maybe I want this one to say dreams. And what else do we want to say about families? Crazy, tradition. So I'm going to do tradition. My family can be kind of crazy, but in a good way. Good way. We all love some of those crazy quirks that they have, right? And then we'll do one more. I'm going to do fierce and click apply. So now I have all of these different text here. So I'm just going to kind of arrange them around my hoop. So for this one here, I'm going to rotate it and put that on this side here. Maybe do the tradition. I'm going to rotate it the opposite way and put it on the opposite side here. And then we'll just sprinkle some love, we'll sprinkle some dreams, and maybe reposition these. And then some other text here, okay? So now let's go and change the different text types and the envelopes, okay? And actually, let's do some different colors too. So I'm gonna change my colors here just by selecting, and I'm doing a right mouse click on the color chip below. So select and right mouse click on the color chip below. And so whatever colors you want to change it to. So let's do a yellow and then maybe another a purple one. There we go. So every one of these are different colors. So now my machine will stop so I can change that. So to change the text, I'm going to click on the text here and I can see in my window, and I'm just going to select some different ones. So here, I kind of like that one for love, the ribbon love. And so I'm just changing the text type by selecting it and clicking on the object. And then we'll put some in cursive, some in print. Oh, I like that. I love the Bauhaus, one of my favorites. So, and then let's do something a little bit different. So, and I think that looks good. So maybe one more change here to this one. Cute, right? Okay. So I accidentally resized that, but that's okay. So now I'm going to resize this a little bit larger, and I can click and drag it longer if I don't have to make it larger, but I can resize by clicking the corners and resize everything at one time. Both directions is what I mean there. And so I'm just making these just a little bit bigger to kind of fill in the space here. And maybe we'll put this one here and maybe this one down here. And okay, so I think that's good for now. I'm gonna just reposition that. Doesn't have to be perfect. You'll tweak it, right? And I can resize even my flower if I want, because it does recalculate the stitches. So now here's another tip. With your text tool selected, I'm going to do a right mouse click and choose envelope. Envelopes will shape your text like these different kind of shapes. Look at that. And I can always adjust these more by clicking and dragging the handles or the shapes as well. Right mouse click, envelope, and let's make this one bridge. So I think that looks kind of cool. And these envelopes, if you've got a text tool, you most likely have these envelopes, but your text tool has to be selected, and you right mouse click and get those envelopes. And so let's do just maybe a double curve on this one. Oh, that's weird that it flipped it around, but that's okay because we can flip it right back just like that. And so let's do something here. So on this one, I'm going to do, let's do dreams. Right mouse click. Whoop, I got to get my select tool for my text. So text tool, right mouse click, envelopes, and let's do the pin it option. And you can see here that I can make it larger, but if I click on the corners and not the resize, I can actually adjust how much it is angled. So all of those little shapes do something completely different. And here I'm just going to rotate this one at an angle just to make it different. So what do you think? Isn't that cool? And I can even, adjust each letter individually. If I really want to make this kind of funky, I'm just clicking on that diamond in the center and then making the adjustments there. So isn't that awesome? And I'm designing inside of my hoop there. Now, once I'm done designing, I could either click the send to the machine if I have a Brother Baby Lock wireless capable embroidery machine, or if you do not, just simply do file, save as, choose your embroidery machine format, and also choose the location and save it. I also recommend saving as a C2S file because that allows you to come back and edit these text easier. So if I click on memories, you can see that it brings up the text that I used, and I can make those adjustments right there. So save it as a C2S and save it as that stitch file format. So, okay, so that's a really fun demo and a way to edit your text and create a fun little design. I'll also show you about creating a monogram, and we'll do that here in just a bit. But let's see if we have any questions before we get to that option. So if you've got a question and I miss it, then ask it again. That does not hurt my feelings. So Paula R says, where is the resize? So to resize, Paula, there's two different ways you can resize. The shapes that are around the design, when you select it, you can drag those boxes, or you can use the resize in the transform. And when I go back over there, I'll show you exactly where those are again. So, and then is that Phyllis or Felicia? Felicia says she didn't know that there was envelopes. That's really nice. Yes, we don't use them a ton. A lot of times I manually enter it, but I think that they're good for quick little ways to edit your text. So, and then Lisa says, what about wireless printer? So yes, we already worked with wireless printer, because really what happens with printing to a wireless printer is it really goes through your Windows program. So when you click on the print option, then it uses your Windows print utility to send to your wireless printer. So you absolutely can do that as well. So just looking back through. And so to see if there are any other questions. So I don't see any. If you have a question and I missed it, make sure that you ask again, and give me the opportunity to answer it, because these kind of move really quickly. So sometimes I miss them. So don't be shy. Ask again, even if it is a repeat. So, and then Sandra says, I have fonts from Juju. Can I use them in Toolshed? Yes, you can. So when you purchase a font from a third party, or somebody that's a digitizer, most often they are files that are embroidery files, and you have a different file for every letter of the alphabet, upper, lowercase, also characters and numbers. And those embroidery files, yes, can be brought into Perfect Embroidery Pro, or I'm sorry, into Embroidery Toolshed, and Embroidery Toolshed Plus. And you could use that align and distribute to get them all lined up, just like I did the ducks. That would be a really easy way to do those letters. So really good question on those fonts. So, and we all love fonts and love bringing them into our software for sure. So, and then Sister So Crafty says, question on cut and stitch rhinestones to cut designs for two colors like a font. So with cut and stitch rhinestones to cut designs for two colors like a font. So if you set the rhinestones as two different colors on your color palette, when you click the rhinestone send tool under your file menu, you have an option in that window that says two color or one color. And so you can cut them separately for the different colors. That's actually another really good question there too. So yes, you can do that. Just make sure you have that setting whenever you go to export your bling file, is what the export option is. So what's the difference in Toolshed and Toolshed Plus? So Embroidery Toolshed is our free program that can resize, rotate, print. You can also watch a slow redraw of your design, and you can put two designs together and save them to all the different formats. So that's the free version, and that's, I think, mostly all the things that it can do. The Embroidery Toolshed Plus has all of those capabilities, plus adds text, adds the monogram tool, adds the ability to group and ungroup so that you have more editing power, and also has the alignment, all the alignment tools built in, and the distribute horizontally and vertically. So the Embroidery Toolshed Plus has some additional features that the free version does not have. So another really good question. So, and then Ellen Buck has she said I had to come in late, and viewing options for the Toolshed Plus. What are the viewing options for Toolshed Plus? And so the Toolshed Plus is what we're working on today. So make sure you rewatch, Ellen. This will be on our YouTube channel and Facebook, so you can rewatch. But you can also try it out over in the shopping area. So make sure you do that as well. So you can try it out, see what features it has, and if you're getting anything any different. So, okay, so let's head back over, see one more thing, and I will also answer the question about resize. And then we will see what we're going to be talking about next time. Okay. So I'm going to use the monogram tool this time. So I'm going to do an undo. And then when I click on the M for monogram and I click on my workspace, you can see that it puts my monogram in that traditional larger center letter and the two smaller letters. And I can use any of these fonts in that monogram format. Okay. But I also have monogram only fonts, which are these options right here. The fishtail, the interlocking, which is one of my favorites, and the round monogram, another traditional favorite. Okay, so I can have a 3-letter monogram, or I can even have a single letter monogram. So I'm going to just put a letter A here, and I'm just going to use that monogram and then make it larger. Actually, let me go back. I'm going to do an undo here. And let's talk about other things that you can do. Because you can separate these letters out, let me use the fishtail one for an example because you can see the letters better. And to resize, so let's talk about this. To resize, you can click and drag here to resize larger, those double arrows, or this is an arrow left and right, so you can resize wider. You can also set your size over here in the properties menu. So I'm in millimeters, so let me go back to inches. I'm going to right mouse click and go back to inches, right mouse click on the ruler bar. And then if I want a 2-inch monogram, I can just enter the 2 inches in height to be able to edit that. And then if I go to my select tool, you can see that my transform lets me set an exact width and height. So there's many ways to resize. And if I uncheck the maintain aspect ratio, maybe I want this exactly a 3:2 and click apply, and it'll make that change for me. Okay, so you can resize in your transform. You can resize by clicking and dragging those handles larger or smaller. If you're in the text tool, you'll see your shapes are a little bit different, but you click and drag here, it resizes proportionately, and you can also resize wider and narrower by dragging those. So many different ways to resize, but there are different types of monograms. So let's say you want a stacked monogram. What can we do? Okay, so you can click on this black diamond that's in the center here, and I could move this up and move this one over. So click and drag to move this over. Okay, so now I've got a stacked monogram. Okay, if you wanted something that's maybe let's do a bottom align, so I can drag this down here and set this so that my text is all aligned on the bottom, just like that. I could also make one letter smaller or bigger or whatever. So if I move this out of the way, and you want to do two first and middle initials that are smaller, and the last initial bigger here, you can do that. You could also kind of do, like, what if it was a graduation of letters? So like you've got a small, medium, and large. Wouldn't that make a cute little monogram? Okay, so you can manipulate these letters by moving them and resizing them to whatever you want. So usually a traditional monogram is A would be the first initial, in this case B, the last name, C is the middle initial. Okay, and so if I right mouse click, I've still got my text tool selected. This is the key here. Text tool selected, right mouse click and say reset. It'll put everything back to exactly how it was. Okay, so just some tips there on working with the monogram. So I'm going to do this interlocking, and I just want the letter A. And let's put some text in an arc around that. And then I also have a design. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of my Perfect Embroidery Pro free designs. And I'm going to use this little cute little floral design here kind of as a decorative element at the bottom of my design. So I'm going to make my letter here a green color. Let's make it match our green. And then let's put some text around this in a circle. So I'm going to choose my text tool, click on the screen, and then I'm going to put the Anderson family. And then I don't want my monogram tool. I'm going to select, let's see what it looks like in the Bauhaus, and click that option there. And I'm going to make it smaller. So let's see, I'm going to do like a 0.7. That actually looks pretty good. We can change it. And then let's put that on a circle. So over here in my properties area, I've got the option to change the alignment if you've got multiple rows, but I can also put it on a circle path. So I'm going to click circle and click apply. And then I'm going to bring this down here, and I'm actually going to make my circle smaller because I want my text to kind of arc and be lined up with my little design here. So I'm going to just click and drag to make that circle smaller, just like that. And then I can move that up. I think that looks pretty cute, but I think that we could still do a little bit bigger or a little bit different. Now, a couple of things. I could either resize this design to make it go underneath my letters if that's what I want, but pay attention to your size. You can either design within your hoop, but here, this is already a 6 and almost 6.5 design. So really, I probably would want that smaller. So I'm going to keep making my circle smaller. And then this option here, if I click and drag, it'll make the overall text smaller, just like that. So make all these adjustments by, using these little shapes around here to, adjust your design. You can also make it a little more oval instead of that arc, and just, get it looking like you want. Adjust your design and create that cute little, I'm going to make that red. Make that cute little monogram or family monogram of that design. So pretty cute, right? So it is a really powerful program. It has lots of capabilities with text and putting designs together, and you can even do a little bit of editing. So I love that. So I see there's some questions. So let's answer these questions before we go on. So Janie says, if you have cut and stitch, do you need the Tool Shed Plus? So what you would gain with Tool Shed Plus really from cut and stitch are the fonts. In cut and stitch, we don't have that many built-in fonts. You have the ability to turn true type fonts into embroidery, but you don't have those built-in fonts like you have here. And that would be the main difference, is having those built-in fonts. And the monogram tool, the applique font, and the puffy font. So, but as far as the other tools, you've got all of them in cut and stitch. So will Dime be participating in this year's Hoop Fest? Yes, we will, Darlene. Thanks for asking. So Hoop Fest is a Sewing Machines Plus thing that they put on, and so we will be participating. So you can check us out over there. And then Palma says, when you send envelope for a letter, when you used envelope for a letter, is it available in PEP? Yes, they are. All of those same envelopes are in PEP and Word Art and Stitches, as well as Cut and Stitch. So arc around the bottom of the circle. Connie, that's a great question. I did meant to show you that. So let's see that before we forget. So Connie's arc around the bottom of the circle. So when you have your circle selected, I'm going to click on my text tool. Notice there's two different ways to select. My regular select tool looks like this. If I go back to my text tool, you can see that I get the circle line around it. If you want to put something on the bottom of the circle, you can do two different things. So if you want some text on the top and some on the bottom, then in your properties here, just put this on a different line. And when you click apply, it'll put that on the bottom. Let's make that bigger so we can see that. Okay. If you want all of that text on the bottom, so let me put my text up back on one line. If you want the Anderson family to be all on the bottom, just click this reverse direction and then click apply, and it will put it on the bottom. So reverse direction puts that on the bottom of your circle. So reverse direction in your properties area. Really good question on that, Connie. So I meant to actually show you that and forgot. So thanks for reminding me. So what is the icon next to the shopping cart? I don't have that. That's a good question too. We just talked about this in our Facebook user group. This icon right here, it looks like a keyboard. That's because my computer that I'm working on is a touchscreen computer. So if you have a touchscreen computer, I can actually use my stylus to draw on the screen or select things. And these options under the keyboard, they are keys that I normally would push on my keyboard. And if I'm not using a keyboard and I'm using the touch screen, those keys are here. So a right mouse click and the shift key. I don't have the anywhere else to click those. So those are keys because I own a touchscreen computer. If you do not have a touchscreen computer, the software knows that it's not touchscreen, and you will not have that keyboard option right there in your settings. So another really good question there. So where are the envelopes for letters? You have to have your text tool selected, Palma. So make sure your text tool is selected so that you can either right mouse click and then look for envelopes under there. Depending on which program you've got, there may be an icon on your toolbar that looks like a blue kind of shape. So make sure that your text tool is selected when you select your text in order to see those envelopes. So another really good question there. So, and then Mary says, am I correct that you are doing all of this today in Toolshed Plus and not using other modules? Mary, that's exactly right. Everything that I've shown today, I only used Embroidery Toolshed Plus. So if you purchase Embroidery Toolshed Plus or you own it, you can do everything I showed you today. However, you may have some of these features in the other programs that you can do the same thing. Right now, I just have all of those hidden so that I can only show you features for Embroidery Toolshed Plus. So yes, that is correct. So really great question, everybody. So, all right. Okay. I think that's a good place to stop. And we are right at the hour mark. So let me just talk to you about next time I see you in a couple of weeks. So on June the 4th, I am going to talk about using multiple pieces of our Dime software together. So when I asked which software that you guys have, and a bunch of you answered multiple pieces. And so I'm going to talk about how they work together and how you can access the different features. So that's going to be the main topic of June the 4th on our software success. So make sure you join me then. Even if you have two pieces and those features are all merged together, I'm going to show you how to access them, find them, locate them, do the things that you need to do without having to switch between the programs. So make sure you join me in a couple of weeks, June 4th, 1 p.m. Central, for the next software success. Now, if you do not own Embroidery Toolshed Plus, then certainly it's a great program. Remember, you may already have these features, so I don't want you to purchase if you don't need them. So most every Dime program, you can do the things that you can do in Embroidery Toolshed Plus. If you have text in your program, you can certainly do all those things as well. If there's any question, you can always ask on our user group. I'm happy to answer. You can contact our customer service if you're unsure. You can also try it. If you are interested in Embroidery Toolshed Plus and you know you want it and you know that it would be helpful for you, check with your local dealer. I always love to support local. Those are going to be your local shops that carry Dime product. You could purchase Embroidery Toolshed from them, Toolshed Plus, and they may even be able to give you a better price. If not, you can check out our website. We always are happy for you to go there, dzgns.com, and take advantage of the Embroidery Toolshed Plus pricing that we hear. Very inexpensive program, but very powerful and lots of features. So, but for now, I'm going to let you guys go, and I'm going to say thanks everyone for being here. And so until I see you on another software success, thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.